souls unshaken. Welcome to our kitchen table. My name's Jonah. I'm 21 years of age. That there's my mother.
Hi everyone. This is our kitchen table conversation. I'm with my son, Jonah. I'm Mama Z. Welcome to our kitchen table.
Welcome to our kitchen table. So, we recently left America behind, my home country. I was born in Louisiana. I lived there all 21 years of my life, but we've had to leave it behind recently. Partly this was because a lot of things had happened to us. We needed something fresh, but also it had gotten dangerous for people of color such as us. The American president is making things very difficult for black and brown people everywhere right now. He's established this organization, the ICE, or ICE, which is deporting or detaining brown people, black people en masse. It doesn't matter if they are legal citizens, if they were born there, if they have their papers. It doesn't matter. They'll take anyone, really. So, partly we needed a reset, we needed to do something fresh, but also there was a lot of turbulence we needed to escape. That being said, of course, our desire to move on predates his nonsense. It started with you, actually. You remember?
Yeah. Well, there's a whole lot of other things that had happened personally, right? We lost his father suddenly, and that changed the entire trajectory of our life. At the moment of that happening, Jonah was just graduating high school, getting ready to go start 4 years in Japan, in Tokyo. And he ended up going by himself. He was supposed to go with Dad, and he ended up going. I had to go with him, but things have changed so quickly. And the large home we had in New York seemed too large for just him and I. And on top of that, after he had left to Japan, I was just like, I can't live here no more, you know? And so we had this already going, like unsettled and wanting to go somewhere. That's before this chaos started.
Yeah.
And so to solve that, for me, was, hey, let's move to California. Because grandma is there, closer to her, closer to family. So we did that. And you really weren't too interested in that because you had friends and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm dragging you anyway, right? Which happens a lot.
It's true. I'd go anywhere with you, though.
But I thought it was important.
Yeah. I feel it was.
Because we felt like we needed to be there with grandma. Having said that, we just left her behind. But she's going to be spending time with us, hopefully, soon enough.
Very soon.
Yeah. But anyway, so as things change, things starting to be chaotic and unsafe for people of color. First, you look at it at a distance. You're like, everybody have this denial, like, that's not going to happen. You're a citizen, right?
Exactly.
Of course you are a citizen. But then you start to notice the pattern of they are filling up their quota, right? It's no longer about, are you a citizen? Oh, are you legal?
It's about justifying their own wages now.
Yeah, exactly. How many can you get per day?
Exactly.
And so they're grabbing anybody. If you're saying, I'm a citizen, I can prove all of these things, they don't really want to hear it.
They don't care.
They're happy to take you in, and sometimes for more than one day. Sometimes you end up in Texas, and they got you in New Jersey, I don't know. And
they don't even always release you.
Right? And then you have to come back on your own, which is chaotic. And so you and I, for me, I was born in South Africa, so I already kind of know what that looks like.
You've been through this before.
Right? And I'm like, I'm not sure I want to be in a place like this where I don't know if my son is going with friends to the mall. I have to like keep checking. Are you okay? Are you okay? It's kind of scary. So I started to think about, well, we kind of wanted to go somewhere to start something, what they call slow living, without losing the value of your lifestyle. Where is that, right? And we're looking at that since we're into California, it's super expensive, just like New York.
We really couldn't afford to stay there long.
We realized we're bleeding money. It's
We're
better
bleeding.
to find another place, but we don't want to go to, I'm sorry, Mississippi, like Mississippi.
No hate to Mississippians,
No hate, it's
but
just the truth.
it's the truth.
We know we know the laws and all of that. We don't need that. We want to find
need
some place progressive. And we look around and we think, but what is it just hopping around states? Let's find something that's going to pump in new life, right?
Exactly.
So this is happening, chaos, but also we have this unsettling feeling inside of us where we're thinking we really want to go somewhere. So that's when this started. And then we thought, you already been in Japan. We want to go to Japan.
Exactly. We thought it was easy, logical next step. Turned out not to be the case. And digging into things a bit more afterwards, that may have been a good thing. See, Japan recently, well, not recently at this point, but Japan had tightened its immigration laws somewhat recently when we started looking into moving there. We found ourselves unable to move there on a plan we found satisfying.
Right.
And only afterwards did I really start to learn Japan is a very conservative, homogenous country. Very unwelcoming, perhaps, to people as you and I. Foreigners, yes, but also people of color. There is certainly an amount of colorism at play there. That is very ugly, I will say. So we looked at secondary options. We thought, okay, not Japan and nowhere else in Asia is really looking like it's easy for us to get to. Maybe Europe. So we look at Italy, not so much. As much as I love Italy, we look at France. Same thing. Immigration laws not really cutting it for us. So we're like, all right. Which one is easiest for us to get to, but also safe, and there's a high quality of life, not just for the foreigners who moved there, but for the people who already lived there?
Correct.
And our answer came back, Portugal. We'd already liked Portugal for a number of reasons, but it wasn't really at all on our radar until then.
Right.
So you may ask, why did we come to Portugal? Reason is, it was all we really had at the moment. I must be honest about that. We didn't start to love Portugal the way we do now until after we started the process of moving there. We're here now, though.
Right. I had to add to that. In New Jersey, for people who know, New York, New Jersey, there's a huge population of Portuguese. So one of our favorite things as a family when we lived there, we loved to do was to go Friday nights to go to dinner at a Portuguese restaurant. And
always the best.
Never disappoint.
Every time.
We are, my husband and I were foodies, so we just love to eat. So it was like something to look forward to. We love the food. We love the bread. We love the bakery. That's my weakness. I love the bakery so much. So when we find out that Portugal offers all of these different visas, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. You don't have to sell your organ to live there. You can enjoy life.
That's important. We don't really have money like that.
And also, when it comes to things of democracy, super, super important. That was allowing us to go where we feel like democracy and human rights are respected, right? So when we start to research, we're learning all of these beauties. There's history, right?
I love the history.
There's just beauty in terms of the nature. Beaches everywhere, and anywhere you go, the color, first of all.
Exactly.
It's colorful. And
as an American, it's a little bit weird to see urban spaces in unity, in harmony with green,
nature.
natural spaces, nature. it's not a very common thing for American urban spaces. In fact, it's almost completely not a thing at all.
Yeah.
You hear people say concrete jungle about American
Right.
cities, New York in particular. It's true.
It's true. You and
So-
I've truly been marveling on
We've
when we
been-
went to Lisbon. There's trees every.
There's trees
we
everywhere.
keep saying, "Oh my God, there's trees everywhere." It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful how nature is incorporated, or rather, the buildings are incorporated within the nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we have to also mention the fact that we had never been to Portugal.
Never. We've only been to a handful of countries in Europe.
Yeah.
I believe it was England, though it's not part of the European Union anymore,
We went to France.
and France. I don't believe, at least me, I don't believe I've been anywhere else in Europe.
Your mom and dad had.
That's you.
Before you were born. But we had never been to Portugal. Not that we didn't want to go. There was a time during the pandemic where we wanted to go to Portugal, because everybody during the pandemic was looking.
That's right.
Where else
That's
can
true.
where else can we go to spend time and come out of our basements basically.
I wasn't so fond of the idea myself. I was stubborn.
But it was kind of scary at the time as well to get out
It was
and
a
go
big
somewhere. Not only the fact that there was restrictions there too, but we've kind of wanted to go visit, but we've never been. And so for us, which is bold, to decide to choose a country we've never been, most of people will go explore, right? But we trusted the fact that when we look at their laws and when we look at their lifestyle, when we read the reviews, we're hearing one same thing all the time. People are very kind. People are full of happiness.
That's what we need.
And we're like, oh yeah, we need a dose of that.
I'm a person of, on occasion, even too much empathy. I have been since I was a child. And it's kind of soul draining to live in a place that's perhaps polite, that's nice, like California, but not necessarily kind. It's not a place where I found people are especially keen to look out for each other for its own sake. But here, that's almost all I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, even without the language, which we have to talk about also, why we chose Ericeira. Why we chose Ericeira if we've never been to Portugal? Why Ericeira?
We don't speak the language at all. This was kind of a get somewhere because you got to be somewhere decision. We just had to get out of the U.S. So we came rather unprepared for anything, really. We don't speak the language even a little bit. We weren't sure where we were going to live right up until we actually went to the immigration office. Things like that. And it turns out this town, this former fishing village turned surfing hotspot, is English speakers are very prominent and common here, which is obviously something we needed. We were going to be very lost and alone otherwise.
Yes. So what have we found?
What have we found? I'm very happy living here. It's most certainly a need for both myself and for her to live somewhere near water. And living in a coastal city has done so much for that. To wake up every morning and the breeze smells like the sea, you know? It's a beautiful thing. And the people here are from all walks of life, which makes me happy. Few things I love more than diversity. And it's all just, as an American especially, whose standards are pretty low, it's all just so beautiful.
Yes, it is. When we first arrived on the first day, we're looking around and like not sure. And then we stayed in Lisbon. And then the day we came here, our hearts were almost like, under over here, our neck, because we were so nervous.
Yeah, we were
wondering
nervous.
if the house, the
What if we
apartment
get
we chose,
there,
are we
we
going to
hate it?
like it? Or the town? What if we're not welcome? All of these things are going through I thought it was me. And then I find out also Jonah
too.
was feeling, I was like, okay, good. We both are nervous. But super surprised when we
Very
got here.
pleasantly.
Beautiful. Of course, first of all, when we drive in and we saw the ocean, my heart was like, oh my God, the ocean. I'm so
I
excited.
haven't even seen the ocean in quite a while until then.
And then we get here. It smells beautiful. The colors are beautiful. The sky is beautiful. The sun is beautiful. It's just everything was beautiful. And we loved our apartment. And we took a walk to the town. We wanted to look up everywhere because it was just, I wanted to stop in every door. I wanted to enter every little shop. And he's busy rolling his eyes. He was like, oh, come on, let's go eat. And I'm just like, wait, just a minute. Because it's just so much color, which we love. And then, of course, we're finding out that every single person who doesn't even speak English is trying so hard to accommodate us.
As English speakers, we were put a little bit to shame by how ready and willing people were to try and close the language gap, even if we weren't able to do so ourselves. Really puts into perspective how...
That Americans are one language?
Yes.
I know. The guy who helped us fix things in the apartment, by the way, we're also learning to slow down, a European style slow down.
That's
and also
been a little
Portugal
difficult.
slow down, which is double take.
Everything takes quite a bit longer here because
Yeah.
everything is still human.
Right.
I find efficiency usually means automation. And automation usually means a loss of an amount of humanity. So in exchange for that humanity, things are going to take a little while. That's been a little bit difficult to adjust to, but we've been getting there.
We're learning that if you ask them for something, it's next week.
It's next week.
And that means 2 weeks. And it's okay. Don't stress. It's okay. It will
Someone
happen.
can say tomorrow. Maybe that means within this week.
Right. Yeah. And that's okay. Because we're learning it. Nobody's dying. It's fine.
Nobody's dying.
It's
We're all
fine.
right.
We're all right. We're all right. And so that's actually good. Those are things we're learning to adjust. I think I'm trying to think what has been surprisingly difficult.
It's been, for me especially, the main way I interact with my friends is through online gaming because we haven't really been in the same area since high school. I've been traveling all over. And I miss them quite dearly. But being able to play video games online with them, that's a huge help. But I've been finding now that we're in Europe and they're still in the US, the connection can get pretty bad on my end.
Oh.
It makes it really difficult sometimes to play certain games we used to like together, or one of us will have to bite the bullet, so to speak, and use the other server, American server or a European server, just so that the other person's connection is better, but their connection is slow, you know? It's a little difficult, and a couple of my friends are particularly stubborn in that aspect. So it's been interesting, I would say, trying to work around that. But for the most part, things are fine.
Yeah.
A slightly slower connection doesn't really deter me. Winning a video game wasn't really the reason I was playing it anyhow.
I don't know on my side if I can say something difficult. I think
you've been a little bit lonely in a sense, though.
Yeah, I kind of had no friends eventually anyway in
Because
California.
you don't really... my way of connecting with my friends is very different from yours.
Yeah, it's true. But having said that, I kind of cut my connections the day I left New York. So
I didn't really maintain a lot of those relationships as well. I didn't intend to not do that. It just didn't happen.
yeah, at least you have your friends online, and for me,
Yeah, my
that
group's
kind
gotten
of-
smaller, but I do still have my group.
yeah, but that kind of stuff. So it gotten a bit lonely. But I don't think in a different way from what it
Yeah.
already was. I think.
I will say a challenge for you, I see, and I do have to apologize for this, is you you love to do activities. My like social battery or tolerance for activities is a lot lower than hers is. For you, doing stuff is what gives you energy. For me, it takes my energy a bit.
Yeah.
And so often you've made a sacrifice by holding back a little bit for my sake when I start to get tired or things
Yeah.
like that.
And because you prefer to be home most of the time than
I'm very much a
I
homebody, I think. Yeah.
And I'm like ready to go because I
You're
want to
ready
go
to
see
go.
the town. I want to go see nearby.
I think that's a beautiful thing about you. And I'm actually very grateful that you've dragged me out of the house so many times because I wouldn't have gotten to see a lot of stuff otherwise.
Yeah. We're learning to adjust
We're learning to
within each other
Yes.
and within the new town, within the new country, the new time zone, right?
Even though we're a mother and son and we've been with each other for my entire life, obviously, we're doing a surprising amount of learning about each other now in
Yeah.
this period. When my dad was alive, obviously, there were 3 of us. And even when he passed and there was just 2 of us, I spent most of my time locked away in my room anyhow,
With your friends.
with my friends, of course. So this is, in a lot of ways, kind of the first time we're really 100% together on
Yeah.
something.
That we have to share every details.
We have to.
And maybe for me to learn not to be so much of a mom, rather be a friend. And sometimes I'm surprised when you talk to me in a different, I'm like, what?
I am sometimes a little bit disrespectful. I don't mean to be, of course, but it just slips me. I apologize for that.
I'm like, excuse
You were much more
me.
graceful
Did you
about it
just
now than you
like?
used to
Did
be.
you just like? Wait. Did you just like? Did that just happen, or am I thinking that just happened?
I couldn't get away with that when I was smaller.
So then I have to remember that actually, as we are navigating this new phase of he's a grown up and
Kinda.
we are friends. I still want to maintain the mom
Yes.
authority in the house.
I do appreciate this.
So, in overall, we are here today because we decided we are gonna, you and I partner
Yes.
and start sharing our story with the audience. And also knowing that actually one of the reasons we wanted to do this is we decided we're just gonna journey.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that stationary in one particular country we want to visit. That's why we're happy to be in Europe, because Portugal allows us to
Yes.
visit the entire continent of Europe, and there's so much history. We want to visit all of these and see and document and learn. Most of all, learn the cultures, learn how it affects their thinking and behavior. Learn if the religion and culture is similar, because sometimes religion can be part of culture. Does that affect their thinking and behavior towards each other
Exactly.
and to others that are different? And maybe can we learn something from that?
Exactly. It's one of the, as you say, one of the reasons we do this. We just love people. We love places. We love learning about people and places. It's a really blessed thing, for me especially, to have been able to experience many different cultures from the time I was a child. It's so easy to spend your entire life in this tiny, tiny bubble. And I think I would even call it a duty to anybody for whom it's viable
Yeah.
to travel as much as you can, not necessarily to go live a glamorous life and be on vacation all the time.
Yeah.
Though that can be a bonus of it. But just to learn.
Right.
Just to experience things that are completely different to you and to genuinely consider what you can learn from that, you know?
Yeah. So you stop looking at people as the other.
Exactly. You stop
Human
seeing people
beings
as
are
other.
human beings. We're all a creation of one creator. And we all live in one little bubble earth, right? And
This
so
rock we're all on is really tiny in the scheme of things. And not to mention extremely fragile. There's so much really precise math that if we were just a little bit off, we couldn't exist the way we do. And we're down here making war against each other and arguing constantly over things we should be agreeing on. And I find that a tragedy.
so
That
yes.
we do so little to understand each other because we're really not different at all.
No.
I mean, you and I are individuals, yes, but also we are each other. There's nothing meaningful that separates the two of us. We bleed the same color. We breathe the same oxygen.
We have the same needs.
We have the
I need
same
to be
needs.
happy. I need to live a good, safe life. I need to eat. I need to raise my family. And someone else has the same needs. And I don't understand when people celebrate other people's suffering
Exactly.
and how you do that. How
Can you do that?
enjoy somebody's suffering. In fact, we have to suffer together or feel each other's pain. So that what happened to that?
Exactly. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what things you are for or against. Every single person on this planet wants the same thing. They want food in their stomachs. They want shelter over their heads. And they want those same things for the people they care about.
Right.
And there's plenty of that to go around to every last one of us.
Do you have anything to say to people from our circle or close relatives and friends back in the States who were like, that's not true. You are now going to be harassed by ICE or they're not going to take you. What do you say to those people who are completely blind
There were a
to
lot
the
of people,
reality
yeah.
of what's going on right now?
First, I suppose I'd like to say, hi, guys. But also, it doesn't matter how many times all of us, because I participated as well, went, oh, they can't do that. There's laws that stop them. Or they're not immune. Well, it turns out they are immune. They can just ignore the laws. But I say to you, I really think if you're still firm in that, oh, they weren't going to do anything to you, nothing was going to happen to you, I really think you need to take a moment and examine the situation really carefully. It's possible you're acting on misinformation you were fed, which you can't really be blamed for that, but educate yourself, you know? And know that even if it's true, even if somehow by God's mercy perhaps, we were going to get out of that completely unscathed, even if that was the case, that wasn't true for a lot of people. A lot of people, completely citizens, many of them even born right here.
Correct.
Well, not right here, but born right there. We're still detained. We're still harassed. We're still deported to a place they've never been before.
Right.
So I say to you, open your eyes, man. Look around you. Things are... Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening. And it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing.
Right.
We gotta look out for each other in times like this. I can think of a few of our personal friends particularly who had no clue why it is we left. That's why. You may still believe that it was an unnecessary choice for us to make, but well, I really got nothing to say to that. Ignorance is a really dangerous thing. It's it's the opposite of progress. And though the ignorant aren't necessarily guilty for sheerly being ignorant, they do have a responsibility to do all they can not to be so, at least as soon as they learn they are so.
Yeah. We have family that thought that, that's unnecessary, and kind of like you being dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, also because you can afford it. That's why. Maybe that's true that we can afford it, because not everybody
It is true.
can.
We're very fortunate in that.
But having said that, the reality is that these friends and family do not have a brown-skinned son.
Every last one of them is white. Would you look at that?
And having also not only brown skin, big and tall, which is alone in the U.S. a threat. He was scary.
It was that way in Japan too, actually. A lot of people saw me as imposing or threatening. I even had to buy fashion glasses just to soften my appearance a little bit. Nobody would say anything directly. That's just not Japanese culture. But I felt the stares always. And I see rather brazenly posts online from Japanese users about that subject, you know? I had to be really thoughtful about where I was going, how I was carrying myself. And that's true in America too, but like 1,000 times worse, because the oftentimes the police there will act on that.
Yeah.
Some of them carry their own racial biases, and even if they don't know it, or even if they don't mean to, a lot of what American police officers are is really, really split-second decisions that can result in the loss of a life of anyone.
Reaction.
There's a lot of fear on both sides of an interaction with a police officer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Or a brown person.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's why most of the time we choose to be in a liberal city, because at least the laws are still respected. And
At least.
you will find, it's true, you will find people with bias.
You will.
In every culture, in every part of the world.
Every culture, every part of the
world. But at
world.
least we are all guided by the laws and regulations of the land. And if that area doesn't care for it or even respect those laws, then you're in trouble, you see. But yeah, that's one of the things that we wanted to just mention, simply because our friends, we know that there are some people who are looking at us like, wait, you didn't really have to do it. Well, look at yourself first. We're not saying that just because you, but just look at yourself and wonder, have you experienced this? Would there be any chances
it's the truth.
of you to experience this? And don't dismiss other people's experience. Just
Often
also read.
Just read.
Check out the news, the real news. Get off Fox News.
Most of what they do is discourse over nonsense anyway. I must confess.
Yeah.
I will not pretend to be 100% unbiased. I am no fan of Fox News. But even then, I think it is very easy to see the way they intentionally guide their conversations, you see.
Yeah. I was going to say, moving has changed the way you feel, or did it solve our problem?
It certainly solved the immediate safety issue. A lot of people here in Portugal are darker just like we are, whether they're actually of melanin or they've just gotten tans, doesn't matter.
Isn't that gorgeous?
A lot of people look the way we do. It's a strange experience for me in particular, being mixed. My father was white. Seeing people who look a lot like I do so frequently. In America, though it is often called a melting pot of cultures and ethnicities, there is certainly a predominance with one kind of group there. And it is uncommon for me to look around a room and see someone who looks very much like I do. Here, every other person at least resembles me, even if we're of completely different ethnicities. And for people who are of dominant socio-political ethnic groups especially, for example, white Americans, it is very easy to underestimate just how important seeing yourself represented and reflected in the things you consume is.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my childhood fully convinced that I was somehow other, you know? I even actively rejected it for a time. And that's no way for a kid to see themselves, eh? So think on that, you know? Next time you see a reboot of a show you like with a more diverse cast and you want to roll your eyes, think about that, though. Think about why it's that way. Think about who's been ignored in the original version, perhaps. It is a difficult thing to not see yourself in stuff. And here, though I thought this would be more of a problem in Europe, here that's not a problem at all. It's a very diverse place, even setting aside that people here already just kind of have an appearance similar to mine because it's a very sunny coastal place. It's liberating, I would say.
So for me, did it solve my problem? Hell yes. Two things that were more important to me was to kick myself in the butt and get a change. Not just the change because I changed the place, but the culture. But also put me in a place where I have to start over completely. I do not know nothing.
I've always found you like to start fresh with things like that. And I'm a little more hesitant, but I'm finding it rewarding as well.
Right, because I needed not just to reboot my spirit, my mind.
You needed to be reborn.
I needed to be reborn.
Like and Nicodemus.
Like Nicodemus. What a beautiful place, Portugal, Ericeira, to allow us to come here and rebirth ourselves. And this is part of us. Sharing and opening up on our kitchen table, sharing and opening up a story.
Right? We're using a very
this
lovely
land that is blended by
studio.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. To just start over and learn something. Be in a place that I'm uncomfortable because I do not know the language. We do not know the land. We do not know. There is no map. Yeah. We don't really know if it's going to work, but we know that it's okay to try. It's okay to put yourself in a place, live low, or live big rather. And it's okay to, if it doesn't work out, at least you tried.
At least you tried.
Right?
This actually reminds me of a quote you sent me recently, a clip from which movie? It must have been Kung Fu Panda 3.
I think it was. Yeah.
Where Master Shifu, the little Tanuki guy, right, says, you can't be more than you are by only doing what you know how to do, or something to that effect. And I find that's really true. As much as I've conditioned myself over the years to be afraid of failure and by consequence afraid of trying, I can't be anything more than I am right now if all I do is stuff I'm good at. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, the list of things I'm good at is really narrow anyway. And that's exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're doing something we don't know how to do. And it's making us more whole for it.
Right. Do you think that putting yourself out there on situations like this where it's completely unknown, is it boosting your faith in God?
Absolutely. I find as a Christian, though I suppose I've had issues with the Christian church recently. So I suppose as a follower of Christ,
Right.
God is most present with us when we're in a situation where we have little choice but to rely on him.
I love that.
We are most connected to God when we put ourselves in situations where all we can really do is trust him.
Yeah. But don't you think that that's when people sometimes get angry at God and maybe push away or...
That's when I especially, for a very long time, I was, well, first let me be clear, my generation especially, but really people of all walks of life have long been harmed by the organized Christian churches and their practices, I suppose. And I was among those groups. I was scorned by the very people meant to accept me. For a long time, I was on the outs with religion in general just because of that. But even when I did return to faith, man, when my dad died, I was nothing but furious. I was enraged, really. And that's, if you know me, you know that's really uncommon and an emotion for me to feel consistently. I was angry. I was angry with God. I was angry with my dad. I thought, how could you leave us? I thought, how could you take him from us? But I found, first of all, everyone has a time. You got to go when you got to go. And for us humans, it's pretty hard to get really old, actually.
Yeah.
To go near the peak of your life, but not near the end of your lifespan, that's actually kind of a merciful thing, I find. It's very hard to watch someone truly die of old age, in a way. But more than that, I was in a position where the only thing I was able to do was put myself in God's hands. I didn't have any means on my own, and even if I did, I was deep in mourning. I was helpless. And that helplessness actually brought me closer to God. It's easy to hear that. It's easy to hear me say that and to interpret it as, I'm religious only because I needed an escape. I needed something to run to. And, I mean, fair enough. That's not the reason, but that is pretty derivative. There's more to it. There's more to everything than only the surface level. I'm at my most faithful, I find, when I've got no other choice than to be. It's easy for me when things are going well to forget that things even can go poorly.
I think we all do.
It's true of all of us, I feel. It's that reminder of how fortunate I am, of how much trouble I would be in if even one or two things were just a little different that had happened. It's those moments that bring me closer.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I was super angry too when we lost Dad. I was like, how could you do that? I mean, you didn't even give me a warning. I mean, I don't know.
You didn't even warn us.
I don't even know if there was a warning, I still would have accepted it like that, because if he got sick or whatever, but it's kind of like you think in your spirit, well, you're getting prepared, right? But it's not really true. It's death is death. It's cutting, you know.
There's nothing that gets you ready for anyone's death.
No, and I was super angry. I didn't want to hear it. Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. It was difficult to pray. But I had to come back to it and realize I can't really stop somebody's time. If it's time, just like you're saying, we're all going to go at some point. But I had to remember something. It's easy to know this in your head, but your heart is is having struggle to accept it. That they do not die, they just change form, like energy, right?
That's always been one of the most profound things to me, to learn that for the first time and to remember that nobody, not one single individual, is ever truly gone. They just change form.
Yeah. So, Dad is with us,
Yes, he is.
and God is with us.
Yes, he is.
And we are here trusting on God and to guide us and lead us in the place where we have no map. But to say, we are going to share every single part of our journey with you. And some of it is not going to be joyful.
It's not always going to be pretty.
It's almost like we want to go into therapy, together. And
It's true. It's a healing process.
yeah, share with us. And we know that there are people who are sitting there in the US or anywhere else, in fact, who want to start something, but they're afraid, who wants to change, but they're afraid. You might not have to jump over oceans to go to Europe, but you've been wanting to start something or leave your job. And I did that, leave your job, and you get depressed. Let me be honest. You're going to leave your job not knowing where else to go. You're going to be depressed because it's real life. You're feeling like you're leaving your insurance and all the things you know to start something that has no map. That is scary. But isn't it better to try it out and find out maybe you were supposed to do this anyway? And if not, you can always go back and look for another job and start over again somewhere else. And some people are really scared to start over. We've been getting a whole lot of questions right now saying, how did you do it?
My heart is warmed to see it.
We were scared. We didn't do it because we were brave. Maybe that's that, a little bit of bravery. But sometimes there can be foolishness.
Yes.
Brave without an idea or plan is foolishness. But I love to be foolish in a way that trusts in God.
I am quite a fan of foolishness.
So we are inviting you to come with us. We'll share how it happened, how we find ourselves, or even we pinpointed this town, Ericeira, how our immigration attorneys helped us. So if that helps you find a place, go somewhere, do something, start something, we are here to share that with you. You are invited to join and walk with us.
Walk with us. If hearing us yap about all this, if that inspires you, if that comforts you, even if you're just using it to help you sleep at night, it doesn't matter what this brings to you, but if this brings to you anything at all, that's enough for me.
Do you have a Bible story to close?
Ooh.
That inspires us for what we're doing?
I was thinking of, it was me that came up with this. Well, not came up with it, but it was me that thought of this. I compared taking this leap of faith that we've taken, packing up and moving to a place with no real plan, just because the place we already were was bad for us. I compare it to the story of Moses leading his people through the desert. They had to leave behind something they were familiar with, something they were comfortable with, even if it wasn't good for them. And though that journey was one of liberation, it wasn't a journey they always liked. There were days they hated it.
Right.
Often did they complain to Moses, often rightly so.
Right.
The resources were too scarce. The food was too bland. There wasn't enough space. One person was quarreling with another. There were all sorts of things that happened. There were all sorts of things that didn't go wrong necessarily, but were certainly uncomfortable or difficult. But all the same, God led them through that desert.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Because they had nothing else but God.
They had nothing but God and their trust in him.
You have a scripture?
I was thinking Isaiah 43.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's pull it up. I can open it on my phone.
Okay.
It is a very handy thing to have a digital Bible if you don't have a physical copy with you.
Please get it.
Please get it. Please get it. Isaiah 43, there it is. Let's go with verse 18.
Okay.
Do not remember the former things or consider the things of old. I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert.
I love that. So this is a new thing.
This is a new thing. I'm telling you right now, on the trip from America to here, so many tiny things went so wrong so many times. It was like every individual step of that journey, something happened, you know? And there were a lot of close calls, in a sense, with perhaps losing baggage or missing a flight, things like that. And it was scary. Mm-hmm. But that whole way through, God made rivers for us in the desert.
Sure did. He sure did. So, in that, I want to say a quick closing prayer.
Let's do it.
To our friends. If you are in a place where you are stuck and you are confused or scared or just bored. Yeah. Know that it might not seem like God answers quickly. They even say something that he hears quick, but he answers, I don't know, I'm rephrasing, but I just want to tell you that God can be fast too. You just got to trust. But in trusting, you need to now move. Do your stuff. Get off your couch and do something.
Something recently spoke to me. Ironically, it was in a video game I'm playing. Most of the way I interpret the world is through video games. They've always been special to me, but this character who was a devout believer in their religion in that game says, my trust in God is what opens a door for me, but I'm the one who needs to walk through
That's
it.
right. So let's walk through, family, let's walk through. Father God, we thank you for this conversation on our kitchen table, borrowed kitchen table, but it is a kitchen table. And we thank you now, God. We ask you that whoever is listening to this, God, if they are finding a story that connects to our story, that you bless them, God, and help them, give them strength to start, begin, and move. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.